Going into Week 9, the Indianapolis Colts, they got a number put on them in Pittsburgh.
Well, I tell you what, Steelers probably are tired of hearing about how poorly their defense has been playing, giving up almost 30 points a game. Here, Daniel Jones, who threw for 342, a touchdown, and had 3 interceptions, was picked by Payton Wilson. He returned for 17 yards. And then this would lead, there you go, Rodgers to Fairmouth, the tight end on a 12-yard touchdown. Good read by Fairmouth, seeing the safety. He slowed it down so Rodgers could gun it in there.
You can count on it. Not this year. Suddenly they show up. You got Indy, who's got the best record in the league, the best offense in the league, the highest scoring team. 6 turnovers, 5 sacks by Pittsburgh's defense.
This is exactly what you thought they were going to be at the beginning of the year, especially with how much money they've invested into this defense. So this is what you want to see from the Pittsburgh defense. Aaron Rodgers has been playing this way all year. He hasn't been throwing it crazy deep down the field, but he's been dinking and dunking you and playing well in situational football. They've had some good stuff in the red area. The big tight end has become a favorite. What's his name?
Washington.
Washington.
Big dude.
300 pounds, 600. I mean, this guy's big.
600. He's not a sumo wrestler.
I was going to say 6'10". I was going to say 6'10" or something. But this is what you expected of Pittsburgh going into the season. It just took them a little long to get it going, and that's a huge win to go out and beat the #1 offense and a hot offense in Indy that they've had.
And try to stay ahead of this Baltimore team that a lot of people think may be catching up to him. Howie, let's talk about Chicago. I mean, they scored 47 points. They had to score 40.
He did not have an impact in this game like many thought he could. All right, we'll take a break, come back. We have more interviews coming up from Acrisure Stadium. We also will delve into what this means for the Steelers moving ahead. It's all coming up. And then your phone calls at 412-575-2600 shortly after that. So we'll be back with more of our Forward Extra Point right here on KDKA.
Welcome back to the Ford Steelers Extra Point.
Bob Pompiani, Arthur Moach with you right here on Ford Extra Point. Steelers win today 27-20. We told you about Cincinnati. Well, they did try at the end to get it down there, but they couldn't. They ran out of time, so Chicago won that game 47-42. And now that means Cincinnati back-to-back weeks where they're at home. They should have won games. They lost both otherwise, so they dropped to 3-6 now, the Bengals do. Steelers at 5-3. Ravens will move ahead of the Bengals. Those are killer losses for Cincinnati. And then the Browns at 2-6 and 0-3 in the division. So, Arthur, at least for now, it gives them a little opportunity, a little cushion going onto the road next week to take on the Chargers out there.
No, absolutely. And when you're talking AFC ball, all of these games matter. Today versus the Colts mattered way more than last week against the Packers, solely because of AFC versus NFC. And taking this momentum that we just had from this victory today out there to Pittsburgh West, you know, that's going to be something that we're going to hopefully be able to continue on with and then get a little bit more separation. Like we said, was it about 2 weeks ago prior to Thursday Night Football, we were like, hey, we should be able to get a nice little lead in the division. So hopefully this time we'll actually execute that and get what we're looking for.
Yeah, and Chargers, by the way, had their hands full down in Tennessee, but they came away with a win, so they'll head home victorious there. You just can't figure out the NFL.
Same Chargers team, they got beat by this Colts team.
Exactly, and it's the same Packers team that beat the Steelers, go home and lose to Carolina. Now, did you have that on your bingo card?
Absolutely not.
That's the way it happens around here. So that means the Steelers go to the Chargers next week. That's a totally different kind of matchup here, and you have to deal with a pretty hot quarterback in Justin Herbert. But this one today had to give this team a lot of confidence moving forward. And again, the run game, which I thought last week, you know, in the second half after Jaylen Warren had averaged 5 yards a poke in the first half, he only had the ball 3 times last week. And so they got back to that this week, and it made a difference, especially as this game wore on. Alex Highsmith, who had a big day at the podium right now, let's take you there.
Takeaways, shutting down a high-powered team.
Yeah, I mean,
Simple exploit.
yeah, I mean, first and foremost, I'll go to God for the win. I think we just came out and, you know, we did what we know we can do this week. You know, we came out and we stopped the run. That's where it starts. And then our culture came alive. You know, we had, 5 turnovers, I think? 6. So I think when we do that, man, we're an amazing defense. And so we just got to put more performances like that together. And I'm confident we're going to continue to stack this and play like this every week from here on out. So we just got to continue to play like that.
One thing you guys did really well was looked like take Jones's eyes away and bat the ball a few times. You're often very good at that, but it sort of waned these last couple of weeks when you were getting beat with the quick passing game. Was that a point of emphasis this week?
Yeah, absolutely. We knew that if we stopped their run when they were in second long, they were going to try to get the back on schedule, the rhythm passing, quick game. So I think we did a good job of getting our hands up. One of them led to a pick. So I think we just did a good job of just recognizing when they were in those quick game formations, and then executing, getting tip balls, relating to guys in those zones. So I think we executed that plan.
How much does it fire you guys up when you're getting so many contributions, so many splash plays from guys across the board defensively? How much do you guys feed off that?
I mean, it's awesome. We know that whenever we are creating turnovers, whenever our culture comes alive, everybody feeds off that. And I think these last couple of weeks, we hadn't got any turnovers, and we weren't really feeding off of each other. But we know that to be a great defense, you got to be a defense that plays with energy, plays with passion, and so we did that today. Obviously, they still had 20 points on the board, which is something we can't let happen. So we just got to get back in the film room and see what happened towards the end of the game. But like I said, I'm just proud of these guys, and just proud of the way that we just responded, because like I said, the past couple of weeks have been not our standards. So the way we responded today, I think, shows how resilient we are as a unit.
Alex, to that point, TJ's play started it. So when that happens as a defense, is that you guys talking? Does it bring confidence? Like, how does that start to snowball?
I think we always say they come in bunches. So usually I feel like if we have a turnover in a game, we usually have multiple. So I think his started it off, and then we just kept feeding on from that, kept feeding on energy. So we just got to continue to do that week in, week out.
So what went into stopping Jonathan Taylor? He came in this game. He was on pace to put up historic numbers this season. What went into stopping him today?
I mean, I think we had a good plan going into it, but at the end of the day, the plan don't work unless we go out there and execute it, and unless we're going out there and being physical, getting off blocks, making plays, and we did that. So we went out there, we got off blocks, we made tackles, and so that's where it started.
Alex, was that priority number one, stopping him?
Absolutely, because we know that when their offense is rolling, just watching their film, we knew that if they get started with that run game, they're a dangerous offense. So they are a really good offense, but we had to make sure that he wasn't running that ball today.
You surprised at all they threw so many times on their first two possessions?
No, I mean, I think early in the game we saw that they were trying to they would take shots to try and start the game off well. So I think we did a good job just coming out, and so we just got to finish better. Like I said, 7 points at the end of the first half. They shouldn't have had 20, so we just got to finish better.
All right, that's Alex Highsmith. He had a big day: 4 tackles, 2 sacks, a forced fumble, 3 tackles for losses, and a quarterback hit. That is a big statistical day. And as he just answered that last part, I was going to ask you, Arthur, too. You know this position very well when you play with the Steelers, the linebacking spot, the opportunity to make these tackles for losses. I was a little surprised in the first drive. Although it was successful, the Colts, 13 plays, 79 yards. They only went to Taylor twice, 11 passes in that play. That was very strange for me right off the bat.
Yeah, it was almost as if they overthought it. I mean, I know at times we get critical about our coaching staff, and sometimes it's warranted, but you can look and see that around the league, other teams do this. Other teams that are even more successful in certain facets do that. But for us as a defense, it's all about going out there and doing your job. Alex Highsmith liked his matchup, and you can see the production from it. The 2 sacks, the loudness of them as well. They weren't quiet plays. These were splash plays, and that's why he was compensated the way that he was. But our defense as a whole, it's based on the star players: Highsmith, TJ Watt, Cam Hayward, Ramsey. When they play well, our defense as a whole looks so much better, and that was clearly the case today.
Yeah, no question about that. It all started with a TJ Watt strip sack, and he's been very good at that. Nobody's had more of those things since 2017. He spoke afterward. Rich Walsh was in the locker room. This is what he had to say.
Feeling a little bit better about this defense after today's performance?
Yeah, but I mean, never too high, never too low. We got to stack these performances, and felt like we were dominating a good part of the day, and then don't want to let them back into the game at the end, but there's a lot of good things to come from today.
You kept stressing turnovers. You guys haven't had any in 3 games, and today you have 6. How does that happen?
Start with smashing the run first and foremost, getting them one-dimensional, and just pinning our ears back and going. Playing fast, playing physical football, playing simplified football allowed us to make more plays.
Was that the key, just being aggressive?
Part of it, yeah. I mean, guys being in their gap and everything also helps. Offense moving like they were helps. We just got to be – I mean, those opportunities have been there. It's just making those plays when they come.
I feel like maybe the attitude is – not the attitude, but everyone says not to ride that roller coaster. Do you feel like there's a better feeling in here after a win like this?
Absolutely. I mean, wins are hard to come by in the NFL, especially against a good team like that. So we're happy about the win, but we have a lot of good film to watch.
The part where all of it goes.
All right, double trouble. We're talking about both of these bookends, and look at their day today, Arthur. Combined 7 tackles, combined 3 sacks, 4 tackles for losses, quarterback hits. That's what the Steelers want from those two guys, and that's why they're highly compensated.
You're absolutely right. This is the tandem. This is the guys these are the guys that are supposed to lead on our defense. And you saw that right there, whether you're talking about versus the pass, right, from a sack standpoint or even getting PBUs or pressures. But then when you look at them versus the run, the tackles for losses, that part, right, the 0-yard gains or even the body blows that we say are when it's a pile over there, but you still see Highsmith or TJ come in a little bit later and still get a little bit more of that in terms of delivering a blow. These are all the things that add up, but this is what you want. And this is the Steelers tradition. Whether you're talking about the older times, I mean, we obviously saw the 05 team out there, right? But we know, I mean, whether it's Joey Porter, whether you're talking Gilden, whether you're talking Harrison, whether you're talking, any of these guys along the line, we want 2 of these guys out there. And that's what you're getting right now with Highsmith and TJ Watt.
No question, but I thought despite all of that, and those numbers were great, but to me, the defensive player of the game was Payton Wilson. He had struggled at times, but boy, he made some big plays. The interception return that set up a short field and a touchdown, and then jumping up on a ladder, it appeared, to knock it away for Jack Sawyer to get his first career interception. He spoke afterwards. Let's hear what number 41 had to say.
It's awesome. We haven't really been the defense that we wanted to be pretty much all year. Obviously, it was a game here or there, but I feel like we put a lot of things together. Still a lot of room to improve, which is honestly the scary thing, but we just have to keep putting that product on the field. Like Cam said last week, we can't ride this wave that we've been doing. We just have to be consistent, and we have to execute, and that's what we did today. Still room to improve, though.
Hey, you guys haven't had a turnover in 3 games, and today you have 6. How does that happen?
I think a lot of it's just the energy that was in here today. I feel like we always put an emphasis on it, but it was in our demeanor today from the time we left this locker room and that's a part of the Steelers. That's how you become a Steeler, turnovers, big hits, big plays like that, and that's what everyone in this locker room wanted to get back to, so we were just excited that we can. We just have to keep doing it every week.
TJ felt like you guys were obviously more aggressive, and that was one of the keys here today.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we really honed in this week, kept it a little simple, and guys were just flying around and being aggressive, and it was fun to watch. It was fun to be a part of.
You mentioned the different energy today. Is that something you felt all week long that was different?
Yeah, and it sucks because you don't want it to be like that. You want that every single week, and that's what we have to continue to do. It can't be, we got our butts kicked 2 weeks in a row, especially on the defensive side of the ball, and then we're like, now we come to play. We have to do this every single week, and like I said, there's still so much to improve on that, we're going to get back in the lab, and we're going to continue to get better and continue to play.
Yeah, you get a little bit more doing it against this offense, the best offense in the NFL right now.
I guess you could say that, but that's the product we want every single week, no matter who we're playing. The people we have in here, obviously everyone knows some of these guys are the best in their position for long, long time. So we want to be doing that against every offense, not.
All right, that is Payton Wilson. Right now, you're going to hear from quarterback Aaron Rodgers, who's live at Acrisure Stadium. Let's take you there.
Thought there was a good message last night by Jalen, and I think the guys responded well.
Following up on that, Aaron, after the muff punt, I think you scored on every one of the next 4 that you got, the turnovers. What did you like, first of all, about your execution and the play calling as well that came in those situations?
Oh, I love the play calling. I thought the execution was pretty bad. We got to look in the mirror and play better on offense because that's not good enough. Any phase, me, run game, catching the football, defense played incredible, and we got to put game like that. We got to put 35-42 on the board and close the game out. So, good tape for coaching staff when you win a game and you got a lot to work on.
Aaron, specifically with TJ, when he makes that play, what kind of wave did that give?
I think that was a turning point in the game for sure. 7-0, they were driving. We ended up turning that into 7, I believe. So that was good. It wasn't a pretty drive. We had a 4th and 1 conversion, but that changed the game 100%. From that point forward, I thought the pass rush was outstanding. I thought we covered well on the back end. Got to give Kyle a lot of credit for coming in here and playing the way he did. But I felt like it seemed like Alex and TJ and Nick were super active, and their inside guys were good, and it seemed like BQ had a good game, and Payton had a big pick. So everybody on defense played great. Got to give Five a lot of credit for his leadership the last 24 hours. And, I haven't seen the film, but just the eye test, felt like he was in the right place at the right time on defense, and we were opportunistic and really proud of those guys. And we did just enough on offense. But play calling was solid. I love the personnel mixture, the play calling at various times in those possession downs, but the execution was pretty bad.
Anyone else?
Aaron, Ben said you guys had a conversation before the game, not asking what you guys said, but what do you respect about him as a quarterback as they celebrate one of his Super Bowls here?
Oh, I was wondering if you're talking about Skronik. I was like, you talk to Ben? What the hell is Ben saying? Big Ben. Yeah. I've known Ben for years and years and years, going back to, the early Tahoe days, and he was picked in the draft before me. So I obviously knew about his game, and we played a long time. Only got to play each other a couple times, but a lot of respect for him and his career, what he accomplished. They won the Super Bowl in his second year. It's pretty impressive. Then the first year they won a bunch of games too. He's kind of the standard, like him and Marino, until I guess maybe I'm missing one or two, but it seemed like him and Marino and maybe Jaden last year. 3 quarterbacks you think about having success in a rookie year. So one of my favorite, as a fan of the game, because I am, Big Ben moments was a drive in the Super Bowl against Arizona, coming down and hitting Santonio right in the corner of the end zone on a beautiful pass and great toe tap. But I enjoy watching him play over the years, because he wasn't the fastest guy, but he's hard to take down. He was always swinging that ball around and keeping the plays alive, and it's fun. This is a big Ben team. I'm just happy to be a part of the organization, though.
We talked to Calvin. He gave a lot. He said it's really motivating to know that the way that you can work the ball to whoever throughout any read on any play. What do you see from your guys and their effort to fight through, even when they're not the primary read? It seems like all 5 guys that you have are fighting to get over.
Well, that's how they got to do it. I always tell them, I said, you got to run it like the ball's coming your way every play. And I was proud of Cal, proud of the tight ends. Darnell had basically that one drive where he had a bunch of catches on it. He's been a weapon for us. We got to get that fixed there in the red zone so we can connect on that for a touchdown. But I just love his attitude. When he's on the field, we're a better team. So I think you guys have talked about it. We've talked about it. Everybody's talked about it. When 80's on the field, we're a better offense.
Steelers Nation, what a performance. Sunday's game wasn't just a win, it was a message, a statement, a thunderous reminder that the Pittsburgh Steelers still know how to punch back when the league doubts them. When the critics started chirping about a 3-game losing streak, when folks were ready to write off the defense, our boys lined up, stared down the so-called best rushing attack in the NFL, and absolutely smashed it to pieces. TJ Watt, the heart and soul of this defense, came out after the 27-20 win and told us straight. It all started with smashing the run. Not stopping it, not limiting it, smashing it. And he wasn't lying. The Steelers mauled the Colts in the trenches, holding them to just 55 yards rushing on 19 attempts. Jonathan Taylor, the league's leading rusher, coming in, just 45 yards on 14 carries. That's not just good defense, that's domination. And it didn't stop there. The Steelers' defense didn't just slow Indy down, they completely dismantled them. 5 sacks, 6 takeaways, strip sacks, picks, forced fumbles, muffed punts. The defense was everywhere, swarming, suffocating, playing that old-school Pittsburgh brand of chaos. This wasn't finesse. This was raw, physical, smash-mouth football. You want turning points? Let me give you the turning point. Second quarter, Colts with the ball, momentum starting to build, and then boom! TJ Watt bends around the edge like only he can, gets to Daniel Jones, rips the ball out, and recovers it himself. That wasn't just a strip sack. That was the moment Acrisure Stadium exploded. That was the moment the entire tide of the game turned. From that point forward, it was all Steelers. Alex Highsmith fed off the energy and kept that heat coming. Rookie Payton Wilson, remember that name, snagged a pick. Joey Porter Jr. locked down in coverage and pulled in a game-sealing interception. This wasn't just a win. This was a total team takeover. And hey, credit to the offense, too. They didn't need to put up video game numbers. They just needed to play smart, efficient, mistake-free football. And that's exactly what Aaron Rodgers did. 203 yards, 1 touchdown, no turnovers, just calm, poised leadership. Jaylen Warren, 2 crucial touchdowns. Pat Freiermuth, clutch grab in the red zone. Every possession that started with a takeaway turned into points. 24 unanswered points to be exact after falling behind 7-0. That's called capitalizing. That's called playing with purpose. That's Steelers football. Look, this wasn't just about winning a single game. This was about responding to adversity. Coming off 2 straight losses, the Steelers were staring down the barrel of a potential 3-game skid. And instead of folding, they responded with their best defensive performance of the year. This was Mike Tomlin football. This was Watt leading from the front. This was Payton Wilson proving he belongs. This was the kind of game that reminds every team in the AFC, Pittsburgh's not done. Far from it. When this defense is locked in, when that front 7 is flying, when the offense does just enough, the Steelers are dangerous. They're a playoff team, and they just sent the league a warning. So now I want to hear from you, Steelers Nation. Was this the moment the season turned around? Is this the defense we've been waiting to see all year long? Drop your thoughts in the comments, smash that like button if you're proud of what this team just did, hit subscribe if you bleed black and gold like I do. This is Steelers Nation Wire, your home for unfiltered, passionate coverage of everything Pittsburgh football. Let's keep that momentum rolling, because if TJ Watt keeps setting the tempo like this, nobody's safe.